Well, you've already answered the next question we had for you. But I am curious, what year was it that you went over there?
When
What year was it when you first went
to Africa. I went in 1954 and came home in 1977.
Next question.
And
It's fun for Victor to ask some of those questions because he was in Africa. I'm not sure how near was it to where that you were.
Well, I went to school in Bulawayo. Was there about 70, about 74.
Okay.
And then I was in Africa.
And so the next question we had here about why you returned home to the United States, you answered some of that, right? And then, what was it like for you to get married after your many years of service? You told us a story, I never heard that before, about someone giving you that heads up before you even left. I'll never forget the day because my friends asked me if I could come out to play, and I remember saying, no, I'm going to my grandpa's wedding. And thinking how funny that sounded, to think that I was going to my grandpa's wedding. So I'll never forget that, and I'm so glad that God brought you into our family because you've been such a blessing to all of us. But tell us a little bit about what challenges you experienced or what unexpected joys you found getting married after your long career as a missionary.
well, the fact that I was so sure that it was God's will, because when I was having my devotions, I was teaching out at the Shalom Christian Academy. And every Sunday night I took special time for devotions. And 2 times the Lord impressed me that someone's coming into my life. So when Arthur Brubaker called on my telephone and asked for a date, and I thought it was strange that he asked for a Friday night date. I always thought dates were Saturday night. But he didn't want people to know that he was dating anybody, so he wanted an odd night. But anyway, I didn't feel like it was a terrible change. I just knew it was God's will and walked along with Him, and it was what was the other question? Challenges or what? Challenges did you experience? Well, it was, I just felt so good about belonging, you know. When I came home from Africa, all my siblings were married and they had families, and I was sort of on the loose. And so it was so nice to have a family, belong to a family. And what better family could I have got into than the Brubaker family?
I'm glad you did.
Does anybody know how many you are now? I don't want Ken to ask because we counted it up.
How many?
Anybody want to guess how many there are in the Brubakers? Arthur Brubaker? 95. Now, one of my favorite verses, which I'll talk about, don't ask me later, is, no, I don't have that in the verse, but I saw that. He said that the Bible says that if you give up houses and lands and everything, He'll give you back 100-fold.
You're getting pretty close. Well, another reason I'm excited about asking this question for you was because Tracy and I had the opportunity to go out to Ohio for a while, and we were working in the Brethren in Christ Church there. And while we were there, we ran into a man named Jesse Leffel. And Jesse Leffel used to like to go to Florida to be part of Camp Freedom and part of the time down there where a lot of retirees went. And he told a story about the year after my grandma Ethel Brubaker had passed away, that Grandpa did come down to there. I think my dad helped to drive him down, and he says, "Oh, Arthur Brubaker was such a sad soul. That time when he was down there by himself, and it was just so hard to even look at him," as Jesse was telling me. he says, but then when he got married again, and when Eva Mae was in the picture, he says, oh, he walked around with a spring in his step when he came down to Florida that year. So, just so glad that you're part of the family.
What were some of your favorite things to do with author Brubaker?
Some of the favorite things? Well, I think some of our many times in the woods were great. In the morning, oftentimes he would say, now, do you have any plans for today? So whether I did or not, he would say, would you like to go to the woods today? And I would go. And we had a great time working in the woods. And another great thing was when we went on some of the bus tours, and the one was to the Holy Land, and he was just so thrilled to be at the place where Jesus walked. It was, I think, a time of his life. He just enjoyed it so much that we would be able to go to Israel and enjoy that. So, and then I enjoyed visiting the sick and different people with him. I always enjoyed going along when he went to visit in the hospitals or in the homes. And even though he wasn't a pastor anymore, he still had a pastor's heart. And when someone wasn't feeling well, he wanted to go and visit them. So those are some of the things. And then the family gatherings at Easter and Labor Day when you dug the potatoes, had a potato digging party, and Thanksgiving sometimes, and Christmas. Those were times that I appreciated. And what I appreciated about him was he showed appreciation when everybody else was gone home. He'd come and whisper to me, you did very well. And that meant a world to me, to feel like he was pleased with my performance.